In Genoa City, power is currency, loyalty is conditional, and love often comes wrapped in control. On The Young and the Restless this February 4th, one marriage, arguably the most iconic in daytime television, hits a dangerous emotional fault line. Nikki Newman, the woman who has stood beside Victor Newman through coups, kidnappings, corporate wars, and personal demons, is finally asking a question she's avoided for years. The answer may change everything. What begins as another calculated Newman power move slowly unravels into something darker, more personal, and far more devastating. As Victor tightens his grip on those he claims to protect, Nikki is forced to confront an uncomfortable truth, one that threatens not just their marriage, but the entire Newman legacy. And the timing couldn't be worse. Victor Newman has never apologized for being ruthless. In his mind, the world is hostile, predators lurk everywhere, and only absolute control guarantees survival. That philosophy built Newman Enterprises and destroyed countless relationships along the way. But lately, even by Victor's standards, something feels different. Those closest to him are beginning to sense it. His moves are faster, colder. His willingness to sacrifice others, especially family, has crossed into alarming territory. And while Victor insists everything he does is for the family, the collateral damage is piling up. On February 4th, that damage finally lands at Nikki's feet. She doesn't just hear rumors this time. She doesn't get vague warnings or half-truths. Nikki learns exactly what Victor did, and why he did it. And she's horrified. Nikki has defended Victor for decades. She defended him when he pushed Adam too hard. She defended him when he undermined Victoria's authority. She defended him when he manipulated Nick for his own good. But this time hits too close to home. Victor's latest maneuver, one that involves secrecy, coercion, and emotional manipulation, crosses a line Nikki never thought he would cross again. It's not just business. It's not just strategy. It's cruel. And Nikki knows it. As February 4th unfolds, Nikki finds herself replaying the same question in her mind over and over. When did protecting our family turn into hurting them? Her internal struggle is quiet but intense. This isn't Nikki throwing a glass or storming out of the ranch. This is something far more dangerous. This is Nikki thinking. The realization doesn't come all at once. It comes in fragments. A conversation that doesn't add up. A detail Victor glosses over too quickly. A look on someone else's face, fear, guilt, or quiet resignation. Nikki has always been perceptive, especially when it comes to Victor. She knows his tells. She knows when he's lying by omission. And when she finally connects the dots, the truth lands like a punch to the chest. Victor didn't just manipulate the situation. He engineered it. He backed someone into a corner. He removed their choices. He decided the outcome without caring about the emotional cost. And he did it with the absolute certainty that Nikki would understand. That assumption may be his biggest mistake. When Nikki finally confronts Victor, it's not explosive. At least not at first. There's no shouting. No dramatic threats. Instead, there's something far worse. Disappointment. Nikki looks at the man she loves and realizes that somewhere along the way, Victor stopped seeing people as individuals and started seeing them as pieces on a chessboard again. She tells him flat out, "You didn't have the right." Victor, predictably, doesn't back down. He argues that he did what was necessary. That the ends justified the means. That someone had to make the hard call. But Nikki isn't moved. Because for once, she's not questioning his methods. She's questioning his morality. Victor insists that if he hadn't stepped in, things would have spiraled out of control. He claims disaster was inevitable and that he merely chose the least damaging path. But Nikki hears something else underneath his words. Fear. Victor is terrified of losing control. Of losing his family. Of losing relevance. Of losing the empire he built. And Nikki suddenly understands that this latest move wasn't about protection at all. It was about power. That realization shakes her to her core. Because Nikki has seen what happens when Victor operates from fear instead of love, and it never ends well. This confrontation doesn't end with a tidy resolution. There's no apology. No promise to do better.
Victor simply states that he would do it again if he had to.
That's when Nikki pulls away, not physically, but emotionally.
It's subtle, quiet, almost invisible. But Victor feels it.
For the first time in a long time, Nikki isn't standing beside him.
She's standing apart from him.
And that distance may prove more dangerous than any argument they've ever had. Victor's actions, and Nikki's reaction, don't exist in a vacuum. Others are watching. Victoria has always lived under Victor's shadow, and this latest power play only reinforces her worst fears. She sees Nikki's unease and wonders if even her mother is finally realizing what Victor is capable of. Victoria begins questioning whether she can continue leading Newman Enterprises while her father operates behind the scenes like a dictator.
Nick is furious and vindicated.
He's warned Nikki for years that Victor's control would eventually cost them everything. Seeing his mother finally push back gives him hope, but also fear. If Nikki can't reach Victor, who can? Adam watches all of this unfold with quiet intensity. To him, Victor's actions are nothing new.
But Nikki's reaction is.
Adam knows what it's like to be on the receiving end of Victor's love. And for the first time, he wonders if Nikki is starting to understand it too.
Alone, Nikki wrestles with guilt.
She wonders how many times she excused behavior that should have been challenged. How often she smoothed things over instead of demanding change. How many people were hurt while she looked the other way. The weight of that realization is heavy and dangerous. Because Nikki's past struggles have always resurfaced when she feels powerless. February 4th doesn't show a relapse, but it does show vulnerability. And Victor, ironically, may be the one who pushed her there. Victor Newman believes he knows his wife better than anyone. But his greatest blind spot has always been Nikki's strength. He assumes she'll forgive.
He assumes she'll understand.
He assumes she'll stay. What Victor doesn't realize is that Nikki's love has never been unconditional. It's been earned. And right now, he's spending that emotional capital faster than he realizes. By the end of the February 4th episode, there's no dramatic breakup. No ultimatums. Just silence. Nikki doesn't reassure Victor. She doesn't defend him to others.
She doesn't soften the truth. She simply says,
"I need time." Those 3 words hit Victor harder than any accusation ever could.
Because time is the one thing he can't control.
This storyline isn't a quick conflict, it's a slow burn. Nikki questioning Victor's judgment opens the door to massive consequences.
A fractured Newman power structure.
Nikki aligning with her children instead of her husband. Victor becoming more extreme as he feels control slipping.
A possible reckoning long overdue.
And most importantly, it forces the audience to ask the same question Nikki is asking. At what point does love stop excusing harm? February 4th marks a subtle but powerful turning point on the young and the restless. Nikki Newman isn't leaving Victor, not yet. But she's no longer blindly standing behind him. And for a man like Victor Newman, that may be the most dangerous development of all.
Because when the woman who knows you best starts to doubt you,
everything you built is suddenly at risk.